And thanks for joining us at 11. I'm John Adams. Former President Trump is safe and unhurt after what the FBI is calling a second apparent assassination attempt. It happened this afternoon just outside the perimeter of his golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. One man is in custody and investigators say they recovered an assault-style rifle at the scene. NBC's Alice Barr has the details.
For the second time in 9 weeks, the FBI is investigating what it's calling an apparent assassination attempt against former President Trump. The former president was not hurt in the incident near where he was golfing at his course in West Palm Beach, Florida. One man is in custody. 3 senior law enforcement officials briefed on the matter tell NBC News that man is 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Ruth. This comes after authorities say a Secret Service agent spotted and fired at a suspect just outside the golf course fence line while the former president was golfing 300 to 500 yards away.
What they do is they have an agent that jumps one hole ahead of time to where the president was at. And he was able to spot this rifle barrel sticking out of the fence and immediately engage that individual, at which time the individual took off.
A witness reported seeing someone run out of the bushes and into a black Nissan and snapped a photo. Sheriff's deputies then tracked the license plate and quickly stopped this black Nissan, taking the suspect into custody.
In the bushes where this guy was is a AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro.
The incident raising new questions about securing the former president and Republican nominee. The Secret Service faced sharp criticism after former President Trump survived an attempted assassination at a Pennsylvania rally in July. The former president saying he is safe and well and will never surrender. Vice President Harris saying she had been briefed on the situation, was glad he is safe and, quote, violence has no place in America. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In a statement tonight, President Biden says he is relieved former President Trump is unharmed and that he's directed his team to continue to ensure the Secret Service has every resource necessary to ensure the former president's continued safety. Well, just days after schools in Oregon and across the country saw an uptick in school threats, another school in our area has been targeted. Our Celine Stevens has more on the latest threat and what students and families in the Longview School District can expect to see Monday.
A minor was arrested Saturday after making social media threats targeting a school in Longview, Washington. Now Monday, parents and students should look out for extra security on campuses like Mount Solo Middle School, all to ensure student and staff safety.
He was the originator of the case, and it had a direct threat towards the school.
Yet another school district is facing threats of violence, and this time it's Longview Public Schools. They say the boy who posted direct threats to Snapchat against Mount Solo Middle School is 13 years old. He was arrested after an investigation by Longview police.
It was determined that he wasn't serious about taking the threat, acting out on the threat, but he was serious about the threats in general, just to kind of get everybody scared, I guess.
Sergeant Brian Schreisguth says they have seen several school threats through Snapchat last week, with some being vague and others singling out certain schools. He says the department chases every lead, and while there were several, they weren't credible.
One of the threats we determined was from an outside school district in Ohio, and so some of the kids had reposted that threat, believing that it belonged to our school.
Multiple districts in the Washington and Oregon area faced threats last week, including a threat to Sweet Home High School, causing the district to cancel school Thursday and Friday while police searched for the minor, who was eventually arrested.
We don't take the decision to close school lightly. This is a repeat. It's really unfortunate. This does not represent Sweet Home.
And even earlier in the week, 2 teens with guns outside Mountain View High School were arrested after police say they learned about a social media message about confronting a student outside of school. The Longview district says they will operate on a normal schedule this week, but Monday there will be extra patrol officers in addition to the usual school security.
School safety is our #1 priority, and we understand that there are some parents that would be concerned about the threats, and we're concerned about the threats. So we've been working closely with the school district, our school resource officers, our patrol officers.
In Longview, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
New information tonight from Oregon State Police after an armed standoff in Lynn County ends with 1 man dead. Police have identified that man as 46-year-old David Tyler. Before 1 Saturday morning, Lynn County deputies were called to a report of a pedestrian struck by a vehicle. When they got in contact with Tyler, he fired his weapon, prompting a SWAT team response. As they approached, he pointed his firearm at them and was shot. Oregon State Police also identified the Benton County deputy involved as Sergeant Daniel Ball. The pedestrian involved in the initial incident was treated for minor injuries. The sheriff's office in Multnomah County is giving new details on a deadly two-vehicle crash from early in the weekend. Just after 3 Saturday morning, deputies were called to Southeast Foster Road in Gresham near Jenny Road. There they found the scene of a two-vehicle crash with one of the drivers dead. They arrested the other driver, 29-year-old Titus Schmigel of Damascus, and booked him on DUII, manslaughter and reckless driving, among other charges. The victim will be identified after family is notified. The sheriff's office also today shared details about a major drug bust from a couple months back. Their dangerous drugs team seized nearly 200 pounds worth of illegal drugs, including cocaine, meth, MDMA, and ketamine. They also seized more than $700,000 in cash, plus 28 firearms, one being a fully automatic submachine gun. Well, turning now to weather, we have just 6 days left of summer, and it looks like we might only have one really nice and sunny warm day until fall arrives. Let's check in with meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Will this week be getting warm at all, Joe?
I have the forecast bookended with some warm conditions. At least I should call it pleasant. We're not going to be seeing any major heat over the next few days. For tomorrow, though, John, it's going to be sunny, dry, and warmer. I'm expecting to see daytime highs right around the mid-70s to close to 80 degrees. Big changes arrive, though, come Tuesday. Much cooler and rainy, and it looking like the timing on that is going to be by late morning, early part of the afternoon, and it will be drier and warmer by the later part of this week. Here's a live look now from our Wells Fargo camera. A temperature of 59 degrees with clear skies. It's going to be kind of crisp over the next couple of mornings, and while it hasn't been all that active with our weather along the west side of the state, yeah, it's been pretty active along the east side of the state with some showers and some thunderstorms near Baker City and La Grande. That's going to continue heading into the overnight hours. So for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies and warmer. Again, temperatures by the morning hours will be in the low 50s, but by the afternoon, we could be topping out with temperatures anywhere from about 75 to maybe 79 degrees. Easily call it 80 degrees in a few locations. But looking into the later part of Tuesday afternoon, I should say Tuesday morning, is when those showers will be knocking on our door, and it is going to be wet and cool by Tuesday. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, we'll see you later in the show. A local nonprofit is helping low-income homeowners in need of repairs. Our Sydney Dorner sat down with a woman in a dire living situation to hear why these programs are crucial for people throughout our city.
All of these people you see behind me are sacrificing their Sunday to help a woman facing eviction after a severe fire in her kitchen. She says if it wasn't for them, she may have been put in a nursing home or even had to live on the streets. Teresa Walton has been living in Portland for her entire life, downsizing to a smaller home in Southeast about 30 years ago. One day back in March, a fire broke in her kitchen while she was cooking for company.
And that's when a giant fireball just in here just went poof, like a big vacuum. People said, well, why didn't you go put a lid on the pan? We couldn't get to the kitchen. The entire kitchen was ablaze.
The nearest fire station was just 4 blocks away, and thankfully crews were able to contain the fire without anyone getting hurt. But the fire left Teresa's home barely livable.
Nobody had anybody to help me. I didn't have anywhere to go. At one point I did live on Foster Road.
Determined to make it work no matter how rough.
I don't want to go into a nursing home. This is my home. It's where I've lived for 30 years. It's where I raised my children. That's where my husband died. No. No.
So for months she called city agencies that recently connected her with Rebuilding Together, a nonprofit that assists low-income homeowners with safety and livability home repairs free of charge. And on Sunday, they sent out a team of volunteers to work on Teresa's home.
And if someone's had tragedy or misfortune, then it's such a small price to pay one day with something we should be doing every day, realistically. So it feels great to just come and give back.
So far, Rebuilding Together has repaired over 1,700 homes. Teresa encourages anyone in a similar situation to never feel shame about needing help.
These people are donating their time to me. I mean, you don't get any better than that. You don't get any better than that.
Sydney Dorner, KGW News.
In Hillsborough this morning, it was the help of a quick-acting neighbor that got a person safely away from a house fire. Hillsborough Fire and Rescue said just before 10:30, the neighbor called 911 after seeing smoke coming from the back of a home, knowing a resident there required a wheelchair. That neighbor helped the resident evacuate. Once firefighters got there, they were able to put out the fire and rescue several pets that were reported trapped. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Today, a celebration held for a longtime place of peace and prayer. The National Sanctuary of Our Sorrowful Mother, commonly known as the Grotto, celebrated its 100th anniversary. This outdoor altar sees hundreds of thousands of visitors every year from across the world. While it's Catholic-based, it welcomes people from all or no faiths. The celebration kicked off with a celebratory church service.
It's nice to be around the whole community here and meet everybody here. I'm familiar with everyone, and it's really nice to just be a part of this moment and just be here.
Today also saw the opening of the Grotto's new interpretive center, where people can learn about the history of the area, the grotto itself, and how it contributes to the environment.